Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
All right, let's talk to Mr. Gibson and Miss Becky. This is file number 25580LT. Roberta Betke is representing herself. She's here in the conference room at the courthouse. Mr. Gibson is here by Zoom from the jail. He is currently in custody in the St. Joseph County Jail, in part as a result of this tenancy on Lafayette Street in Sturgis. Lafayette Street. The way I understand the situation from the criminal case is that Mr. Gibson had been hired or retained to do some painting or some other work at Miss Betke's. He had his trailer, a camper, at a neighboring property. He moved it to Miss Betke's and set it there. And it had been there for a year or more. My understanding is there's no lease. The city wants the property removed. And as a result of the criminal case that took place at that property, Mr. Gibson is in custody. Now, Miss Betke and the state police, frankly, had a misunderstanding of how the landlord-tenant situation worked. She served a 10-day notice to quit on him and misunderstood and thought he had to be out in 10 days. That was it. And so did the state police. And I said, no, there's more to this. There needs to be a further hearing. So Ms. Betke did follow through and start this termination of tenancy action. Mr. Gibson probably doesn't want to be there anymore anyway, but he's presently in custody and is not very able to do anything about vacating this property. Miss Betke, did I state the circumstances as you understand them?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gibson, what's your position here?
Oh, sir, if I can get my bond reinstated, I could possibly get my things out there, but the sheriff came here to the jail and said my things were coming up missing. Someone was stole my dirt bike there, my trailer there, my moped, ripped my camper all up.
Yes, I guess I'm not terribly shocked by that, the environment we're living in.
And then I knew this was gonna happen. That's why the reason I'm here is because I mean her grandson got mad and threatened me that he's gonna put me in jail.
Yeah, don't say any more about that case. That case may or may not have been compelling. The reason I canceled your bond is you continued to try to contact them in violation of your bond. When I do that, just a minute.
The sheriff came here. I have a phone where I live there too, and my family was supposed to be there. The sheriff came there and she wouldn't let him get my stuff out.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
And then another guy came here.
Just a minute. Hold it. Miss Betke, did his family come and try to get his property?
When his family came, first of all, it was his nephew, came with 3 teenage boys. They wanted his four-wheeler. And I said I wasn't going to give anything of Jeff's away until I talked to a lawyer. And I said, aren't you the same boys that took the $800 out of his car? Well, yeah, we were, but we gave some of it back. And I said, well, in the meantime, I'm not giving up anything.
All right, that makes some sense. Just anybody shows up and says, I have Jeff Gibson's permission. Mr. Gibson, if you're going to send somebody over there to get your possessions.
Excuse me, sir. The sheriff was there.
All right.
The sheriff came there with my niece to get my
Okay,
stuff out of there. She wouldn't let him get it. So the sheriff said we will get a warrant to get his things out of there. Finally, she let him have one thing, but wouldn't let him get any more. That's the way that went.
That's not true, sir.
all right, well, okay, then let's talk about this. Who is your agent that you want to come recover your property?
Well, it was my niece Brittany and her boyfriend and possibly my brother. And
What's
and then my
Brittany's
mom and
last
dad,
name?
Edmonston or Gibson.
And what's your brother's name?
Steve Gibson.
And your mom and dad?
You know, my dad, he's sick and my mom's really sick right now, sir. And if I could just get my bond reinstated, I could go help him, get my stuff out
Well,
there.
I
And
can't reinstate your bond. Judge Stutzman can. They've got to give you a PR bond after 90 days. And you've been in jail 59 days. But the problem is, you personally are not in a position to get your stuff. And I don't disbelieve what you say, that people are in there taking stuff. But the law requires that I set this for another hearing. Now, Miss Betke, his agents, Brittany Edmiston or Steve Gibson, they come and remove this property. Do they have a way to get the trailer out of there?
I don't know right now, sir. If you don't know how to move it, it'll ruin it, I pretty much lost they stole my dirt bike there. They got him on camera stealing the stuff, and I don't know what the problem is. They can't retrieve it. My trailer came up missing. My moped came up missing. Along with all this other stuff come up missing, And the sheriff came here like 2 weeks ago saying that something else is missing now that Roberta called the cops.
Which deputy came to see you?
I don't know. They gave me a complaint number. I gave it to my attorney. It's I don't know. Roberta sent him here to the jail to talk to me a couple weeks ago.
All right.
Saying that my things were coming up missing. I told him, hey, can I get out of there to get my things? Could I just get a PR bond and I have a cop with me to get my stuff?
Have you discussed that with your attorney?
I wrote my attorney. I wrote the judge, and they won't answer me, sir. Please, could I just get it? And then I'll have the cops go with me to get my stuff out of there, and then this case be over with.
All right. Well, I don't have the authority anymore over your case.
Could you please talk to Stutzman and tell him that I wrote him a letter?
I will tell him that there is a landlord-tenant case.
I really appreciate it.
All right. Now I have to, but as I said, you were making efforts to contact them in violation of your bond.
Well, see what it was is I live there
now
too.
Stop.
I was trying to hold my face
because there's a no contact provision, and it's going to be very complicated. To further complicate things, I won't be here next Friday, the 11th, or Monday, the 14th. I won't be here until April 18th. Now, Miss Betke, this is a process. You don't just serve a notice on them and throw them out. There has to be a process. Now, at this point, you want to get his stuff out of there. He wants to get his stuff out of there. We just need to figure out how to do it.
Judge.
Yes.
Okay. We go back to what we were talking about before. Yes, his niece did come over, and she wanted the four-wheeler. And I said the same thing to her that I did to her son. She also came over with her boyfriend. And I said to her when I was saying, I want to talk to a lawyer first, she walked away and she said, you go talk to a lawyer. I'm going to talk to a sheriff.
All right, well, listen, you just talked to a lawyer, you talked to me. She's his agent. If she wants to take the four-wheeler as his agent, she can do it. This hearing protects you from liability. Mr. Gibson, is that acceptable that your niece recover your property?
She's done it already, sir.
Okay.
And in the process, her boyfriend goes over to his car and takes his car and takes off with it. Nothing was said about the car.
Takes whose car? Jeff's car?
Jeff's car that was in the front yard where he left it after he was arrested.
All right, well, you're good. Now the car's gone. You don't have to worry about it.
What about the Mercedes? Is it still there?
Mercedes is still there.
Right, well, I asked her to go get that, and you said that you wouldn't let her get it. I had a notarized paper stating that her and her boyfriend could go get it. The sheriff said you wouldn't let them in there, and they said they would get a warrant to get in the garage to get my things, and you would let them get one thing, and that's it. I thought that's what I was told.
All right, well, they have the right to get your stuff.
Sir,
So let's,
if I could just if you could just talk to Judge Stutzman before you leave and see if I could get a PR bond. I'll go over there with the sheriff, with the trailer, get my things, and this will be over with. Otherwise, I already lost enough. I don't want to lose any more. And if you don't
well,
want to
to further complicate things, I have to continue this matter until I return, which will be longer than I like.
Sir,
April
I'm going to interrupt you, sir, but, if they move the car wrong, it'll ruin it. I got the module out of it, and I tried to move it already. I already got it out by the road, and I tried to move it, and if they don't move it correctly, it'll ruin the car.
Judge, nobody showed me any notarized paper at all. They just took the car. Nothing was ever said about the car when his niece came. She was talking about the four-wheeler. And I said, until I see something lawyer or whatever. And that's when she said she would come back, and she did come back maybe about a week later. She did come back with the sheriff's office deputy.
Would you object that if I bring a sheriff over there and got my stuff out of myself?
If the sheriff was willing to accompany you, yes. Now the problem is, Mr. Gibson, you got a no contact provision, so it's complicated.
I'll bring a sheriff, sir, and I'll get my things, and I got medical issues, Anyways, I gotta take care of here. I gotta get out to take care of this
Mr. Gibson, if you don't stop talking, I'm gonna mute your microphone. This is my turn to talk. Ms. Petke, you can let his agents come take any of his property out of there without any liability for you. You want to get the stuff out of there. You want to get the car out of there. You want to get the four-wheeler out of there. You want to get the dirt bike out of there. You want to get the trailer out of there. You want to get the Mercedes-Benz and the Rolls-Royce out of there. His agents can come remove that property. I can't schedule this matter again until Friday, April 25th at 1:45.
The person that actually owns the Mercedes-Benz wants the car back. Jeff does not have a title to that car. He took the title, but he never registered it.
All right, well, why is that your problem?
Just because I'm talking for Mr. Zimmer. Mr. Zimmer, actually, he wants both.
I bought the car off Mr. Zimmer. I got the title. He signed the title.
All right.
Over.
That's not your problem. That's between Mr. Zimmer and him. If you want to get the property off of there, his agents can remove it. So, Mr. Gibson, I don't have the authority to tell Judge Stutzman to grant you a PR bond. I will tell them that there is a landlord-tenant proceeding, that you're in custody, you wish to have your property removed, and I can't address this further until April 25th. In the meantime, Ms. Petke, if his agents come there to remove the property, we've got his niece and her boyfriend and his brother Steve. Some random people can't do it, but again, they can come get it. And if he takes the other car, that's not your problem. It gets it off your property, and then they can deal with each other. So we'll address this further. If Mr. Gibson does get out on a bond, they have to give him a PR bond after 90 days. Excuse me, not a PR bond. They have to grant a bond, not necessarily a PR bond. They have to grant him a bond.
I thought it was 63 days. Right?
It's 90 days. All right, we'll address this further on April 25th at 1:45.
Can I ask you one more question? One more question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you gonna be able to talk to Judge Sussman before you leave?
Yes.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
send an email that everybody will be able to see. I'm not gonna have a private conversation with him.
Could you send my lawyer Ross Truckee one too, please?
Yes, he'll be on.
And Timothy George. I fired Timothy. I'm fired Timothy George and Luke Lausinger too. I need you to know that I'm firing them, and I want Ross Truckee just to handle it all together.
All right, I don't know about that, but I'll copy all of them. All right, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Miss Betke. Hopefully they can get some more of this stuff off of there.
Okay,
Everything they remove is one less thing you got to deal with.